Hey, what's up, guys? So it's been a while since I recorded some Magic stuff. Yeah, I've been playing Magic on and off, just to do some daily quests and stuff, but haven't really gotten around to grinding too much. But I did make it to Platinum again this season. It's fairly easy. Like I always try to make it a goal to get to Platinum every season. It's really easy to get to, at least in my opinion, and it gets you the most reward without having to really grind out the game too much. Because every time you end in platinum, you go back down to gold, but you can get back to platinum in like I want to say about a day or two of just playing. So real easy to get to platinum, and the rewards are nice at the end of the month or the end of the season. So um, yeah, for those who don't know that the new Kamigawa set just came out today, Neon Dynasty, and so well, I guess it came out for Arena, but not so much for the physical card game um, quite yet. But yeah, I decided to uh, craft a few cards to try out. Nothing too crazy this set. I think that I wanted to try out in terms of like playing historic, and even in terms of playing it in real life. In terms of like EDH and stuff. There's only one or two cards I wanted, not too much because I don't. I mainly play like the Grixis color, um, and so I don't really have anything to play in my EDH deck. Right now, it's playing mono black, so the only land or the only card I was gonna pick up was the land card, the legendary land. But um, and a couple of cards for collecting. I think some of the cards in this set look pretty cool. If you haven't seen them yet, it's on Magic's website, and they have some alternate cards and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. Definitely collectible, and the lands look pretty cool. Yeah, overall the set looks pretty flashy and cool, and ninja, you know, um, base theme. And my friend that plays Yuriko is gonna be pretty happy with some of the stuff in the set. In terms of standard and modern, well, I guess in terms of modern and historic, I don't think it's gonna warp the format too much or change too much. Especially for modern, some of the cards in there are probably not playable. The most playable card would probably be the green land, Monsu, I think. Monsu? I forgot what the green land was, but basically the land that can be channeled for like 2 mana to destroy any artifact or enchantment, which is really good, and that would work pretty well with Ren and 6. So that's the theory right now. It's the card that's probably gonna get Ren and 6 banned, I would think, but we'll have to see. So Death Shadow might be Jun Shadow again, so it might be worth playing Jun over Grixis or Rakdos in modern at least. Um, yeah, in terms of like blue white Esper and all that stuff, I think the only card that might be playable is this card right here. It's the March of the uh, Otherworldly Light, and it's an interesting card because it's kind of like Prismatic Ending, but in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. Um, in terms of how it compares to Prismatic Ending, it's an instant speed, so that's already a good thing, like being instant speed. The awful thing about it is that you're always gonna lose mana removing whatever you're trying to remove. So unless you're removing a zero cost artifact or creature token thing, then whatever mana you spend into this card, it's always gonna be a net negative. So that's the only issue with the card, but it's cool that it can hit a lot of things, similar to Prismatic Ending. It exiles the target. The cool thing about this is that it can hit lands. Since this card doesn't say non-land cards, you can target stuff like Urza Saga, artifact lands, stuff like that, and you can actually exile those lands and hose your opponent of some lands. So that's the cool thing about the card. The other thing is it's similar to Solitude in the sense that you can kind of invoke the card, I guess. Well, not really invoke. It's not free to cast, but you can reduce the cast by exiling cards from your hand upon cast and reducing the cost by two in order to basically exile whatever you need to exile. And I guess the other thing is it doesn't require any colors. So Prismatic Ending at best case scenario, you can spend 5 mana to remove something that's 5 mana, but that's all you can go up to because in Magic you only have 5 colored mana, and so the limitation with Prismatic is that it can only hit things 5 mana and lower, in terms of CMC costs. But Modern is such a pretty efficient format. A lot of your threats are going to be 3 mana and lower, so the 5 mana doesn't and higher doesn't really play much relevance. Not many people are playing anything that's 6 mana or 7 mana. If they're playing maybe a Reanimator deck, or they're playing like a Bolas Citadel deck or something like that, for example, there might be a chance you'll see a CMC higher than 5. For the most part, most CMC is 5 and lower. The most rampant thing that you're gonna run into is sorry, probably gonna be the elemental incarnations. So like Solitude, Fury, um, Slowly, Grief and stuff like that. That's probably what you're gonna be removing with Prismatic Ending. Um, which is kind of you know it's kind of inefficient, but still, pretty good card. It hits virtually everything. Hits planeswalkers, um, all that good stuff. I guess that's the one weakness of this card too, is it cannot hit planeswalkers. Excuse me there. The main weakness is, at least in historic, you don't really have that many ways of efficiently removing planeswalkers outside of like an Elder Spell or Vraska's Contempt or Baleful's Mastery. Mostly black cards that can deal with planeswalkers. Your only other real way to remove planeswalkers, at least in this way, is using your other planeswalkers. So like, Teferi Hero Dominaria, or if you're playing Nicol Bolas, or you're playing an Ashiot, you can kind of remove the planeswalker that way. Or obviously, if you have direct damage in terms of like a Lightning Helix or Unholy Heat, maybe. But yeah, at least in Esper color, we don't really have access to that. So or only other real efficient way to remove planeswalkers is through damage, via a shark token. So that's kind of like the best way to deal with planeswalkers, is to attack them. And shark tokens are great because they have flying. They can kind of fly over most things, and it's uncounterable, which is nice. So you have extra mana, you can pump it into a big shark, and then run over a planeswalker, assuming your opponent doesn't have any interaction with to get rid of your token. So with this particular deck, I changed a few things, especially with the mana base. I'm experimenting with it, and in terms of the deck itself, I think it's in a good solid place. I've played a couple of games and won the majority of them, going from gold to platinum with the deck. And today I crafted the march here because I think this is going to be a pretty good removal spell in historic. It's very similar, like I said, it's similar to Prismatic Ending, um, and it's a nice card. Um, it deals with a lot of threats and a lot of strategies. Like I mentioned, it doesn't deal with planeswalkers, but majority of our opponents aren't playing planeswalkers anyways. They're playing like creature-based stuff or some sort of combo. So um, I decided to go with 3 rather than 4. I think 4 is a little too much. You might even want to do 2. I think 2 is still a fair number, but 3 here seems to be a good number. I downed the Fatal Push to 3, and then I took out the Censor, because the Censor was like, I hated it and I loved it sometimes. It's kind of weird. So I took out the Censors and just went for hard removal. So in terms of like our counter spells, we aren't really playing that much counter spells anymore. We're playing more of a tapped out style deck, for sure. So we're trying to tap out and uh, for our planeswalkers, and use them as kind of like threats to our opponent. Um, so in terms of planeswalker, I think Starset's still pretty playable, still pretty good. In this particular build, I'm playing 3 of her because I already have Archmage Charm, so they kind of conflict. I didn't want to kind of have them overlap too much, but you could definitely play more of her if you like. Um, Teferi here, you can cut to 2 if you prefer. I'm playing 3. It's okay. It's like kills a bunch of you know artifacts and enchantments. But with March in the um, this position right here, you might be able to cut him down to two and play something else. Because March does hit the same thing Teferi does, but exiles it. So March might be a little bit better in that sense. So I don't know. It's hard to say, but I still like his uptick. I still like being able to thought seize people on their draw phase, and I still like being able to Wrath when I need to at instant speed. So his uptick's still pretty good, and he's hard to remove and interact with still sometimes. And he helps against the mirror match, especially when they can't counter any of your planeswalkers and stuff like that. So yeah, still pretty decent. Not as good as his 3 mana version for sure. Um, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, three of him or two if you like. Next off, just still the same big mana package here. Ashiot, you could bump this to two. I've been okay with him at one so far actually. I took out the Elspeth Conqueror's Death because that wasn't really doing too much for me honestly. I tried it out, didn't really like it. It wasn't really hitting what it needs to hit. At least in this particular deck, it's kind of slow. And um, yeah, sometimes I didn't have my graveyard set up, and I couldn't really get any value out of the third saga, so decided to cut the card complete from the deck. It works really well in my Super Friends deck because you know you're always dumping stuff in the graveyard, so you're always the third saga for Elspeth will always kind of get you value, but in this deck it doesn't really get you much value, and it's too expensive to play as hard removal. And so yeah, so took that out completely. And I decided to bump the shark token back to 3. Because you know I kind of miss it at 3 honestly. Sometimes I had 2 in my deck and I played and I was like, oh crap, you know I know I don't have any more shark typhoons. And it's one of our main win cons also. Resolving a enchantment shark typhoon is one way we will win. Because this deck doesn't really have a win con per se, like you know being controlled, you're just trying to exhaust your opponent of their resources, and they you know usually forfeit through sheer boredom. So you know Shark Typhoon is one way to close out the game late game. You just hard cast it for the enchantment value, the 6 mana, and try to build a army of shark tokens. In terms of our win condition, our main win condition is still going to be Teferi here. If you can ult with him and start removing your opponent's lands and stuff like that, your revenge, or you know, try to deck them out. That's gonna be your main win con. Your secondary win con that doesn't really come off that often is the commit memory here. So if you have Narset and you're able to cast memory, then you can hold your opponent and drain them of all their resources while you draw like a bunch of cards. Ideally, if you had her plus Teferi and your opponent draws, you play the memory at instant speed, and you hose their entire hand and graveyard, so they won't have anything left to play. Um, it took the place of Memory Deluge because Memory Deluge was so for me. Um, I guess I didn't care for it enough, but I still think it's a good card, definitely. Maybe in a Lotus build, it's for sure better. If you're playing the blue-white control version of this deck, where you're using you know Lotus and you're trying to stifle the Lotus and stuff to ramp up, then I think Memory Deluge is definitely better because you can cast it for 4, you can cast it for 7, really easily. This deck you're usually stuck on like 5 lands, maybe 6 lands at most, and you're not really able to effectively cast Memory Deluge that well in this particular deck. So I decided to just completely take it out, and then decided to play a little bit more tapped out. In terms of the land, it looks kind of like a mess right here, and it honestly is. I've been trying different things with the lands to kind of make the deck work a little bit more smoother, and that we don't run into times where we're just you know, playing tap lands and stuff like that. So what I did here is I still playing 12 shocks. I still don't think you need Godless Shrine at 2, but I'm playing 2. I'm trying it out because we have so many 1 mana you know removal that are black or white, and so that's why I'm playing the 2 Godless here. And I down the check lands, down the drowned catacombs because by turn 2 you don't really need the black source anymore. By turn 2 you'll probably be looking for white sources, white and blue sources to build up, build into a Narset or Archmage's Charm, or maybe a God of Wrath. So that's why we have the 4 Glacial still. Um, and yeah, it's not a bad lineup, because we're still able with the pathways. We're able to go ahead and get the color that we need. But I don't want to play too many pathways because you still prefer having dual lands over a single land like this where you have to make a choice. And so that's kind of, I only play like the 4 because that's what I kind of had, um and it kind of helps maintain the speed of the deck, while hopefully later down the line you draw your dual lands and able to get the cards, the colors that you need to cast your other stuff. In terms of the basics, I'm only playing 2. This is namely if someone tries to fill to ruin you, you have some way of searching for a basic, or if they assassin trophies you or something like that, or for God, who knows if someone sell the wreckage you or wreckage the shark or something, for example. This is just one way to kind of search for a basic. And I play the swamp namely because you can dot seize on turn 1 with swamp. Um, and I guess you can play a plains now and you can technically march turn 1, but no one really plays a 0 mana creature, so I don't think plains is that great to play. And the one island, because the island basically works with all the rest of your check lands and stuff like that. And in terms of our other 2 check lands, it would be Vantress and Arendelle. Arendelle can be kind of a value engine late game, and can outvalue your opponent. Castle, if we're flooding out, you need something to do with your mana, then Castle is kind of good for that. Hall is another good closer. It's a good land to um, animate and hit for 7 or whatever you need to do. So those are the utility lands per se, and everything else is just either a dual land or um, a land that you gotta choose. So that's it for the lands. In terms of the side deck, I kind of just went back and forth. Haven't really decided on a good side deck yet. Or it looks majority the same as last time, so not much updated here. I'll update that once I start doing best of 3 and seeing what I need. But this right here in best of 1 so far has done pretty well. As you can kind of see, I'm already climbing to Plat 3, fairly consistent with the deck, and yeah. So not much else to say about it. Maybe I'll demonstrate 1 or 2 games here, just to yeah, kind of show off the deck and some of the changes and seeing how it it functions. So yeah, in terms of my actual Esper deck in Modern, I'm gonna make some changes to that, and I'll post another video about that. Some little updates here and there of stuff I'm trying out. So yeah, so right here it's kind of an awkward hand. You want to make the path of just all blue, so that kind of hoses you of the colors. But considering our hand, I guess that's fine. A lantern, that's interesting. Okay, that's quite a bit of berries here. Probably play this one next in case we need the black one for something, but I don't have the card style for this yet. I'll save up some gold and buy the card style for this. Really, I guess our opponent just needs a land. That's what I'm assuming he's tapping it out for. Okay, it's not bad. We can do this. Play this for an island and then either Shark Typhoon or do that. Okay, yeah, so he is doing that. Okay. That's unfortunate. They went from to ugh. There's so much mana ahead of us. I think we just cycle a shark here. And And then we're gonna try to resolve a Teferi, maybe. He doesn't have a Teferi of his own. But it's a little risky though, honestly. Look at this. Tough choice. I can try to resolve a Teferi. Most likely it's not gonna resolve. I have so many of them, and I think he's gonna Teferi me during his turn. If he big Teferis me, I think we lose the game there. I guess since I have another shark, I do have another play. So I guess I don't necessarily need to do anything. Plus, I want to see if I can get a land. Either to cycle the shark or to commit him. Probably the best one is the shark here, I would say. Does he have a hull breacher? So we're gonna let that through. See what he does here. Do anything, okay? If he does like a memory deluge or something, that's fine with me. What he does here. We're gonna take a peek into his hand. Down to 2 cards. I say we can counter this. This way it makes his hand a lot worse too. So he's got really nothing going on for him. Our land, sure. Alright, so he's got Dig Teferi.
I won't hide from the hurry.
So this kind of sucks, but I think what I'm gonna do, allow him to draw and then commit to Fairy here. Hopefully he didn't draw into a counter spell. But yeah, he ripped that off his top deck. That's unfortunate. This way I can delay the Teferi for another couple of turns. Well, I try. Oh, well, guess he had that, so that kind of sucks. Alright, well, that sucks.
Right on schedule. You know what? I'm not.
Yeah, guess I couldn't have resolved this earlier. I won't be able to draw, but at least I can try to get this guy out.
Let's slow this down.
And attack the Narset.
You cannot see your folly.
We can get the search out. I think we might be okay. Although I think his deck draws, Jeskai draws a lot better than my Esper deck does. What I would like to do, if it gets rid of Narset, uh, then I can just commit safely with Teferi on board. I can't see him down taking the Narset anymore.
Not so fast.
Okay. Okay, well, he had the lantern, sure. Oh, doesn't seem that great either. I think I'm gonna Shark Typhoon him, though I don't think I want to draw the Teferi, though. Hit Narset and kill this Teferi with the big shark next turn.
Hold that thought.
Oh, I don't want to draw this again, though. Tough choice. He's floating out at least. Let's do the max we can do here. I guess I can transform this, which is nice. Does he have something to deal direct damage to the shark? The shark should evade most things, like a lightning helix and the sun here. I see. Damn. Well, I gotta get rid of the shark now.
Trust me. You'll thank me later. Here we go.
Next turn we can Narset.
No time for a break.
You are a mighty warrior. I can see the thoughtfulness before action.
Charm. He's drawing so many. Yeah, I got hosed by the fucking Narset. So we can't counter us. Let's take that for now.
Let's try this.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers. I have just the trick for this.
Let's grab drown. I'm gonna smack to fairy here. We can't down tick.
I won't let you win.
He has a surplus of cards though. And the Cass Arundel is gonna outtrade us. All three of my Shark Typhoons gone.
I must stay focused.
Think I can just Teferi this away. Well, it's a little risky. Ferry that back to the hand. He's gonna make double tokens.
We need to move quickly.
I could do this for 5 mana. That seems kind of bad. Not too sure why he's holding up the mana here. Unless he can cast a spell on my turn? Not too sure why he's holding it up. Do 3, discard 1 to fairy. Hmm. Still not enough. I have to do 5. Oh, no, this doesn't hit Planeswalker. I forgot. Yeah, I think he's got it. I don't think there's a way for me to
I won't forget our time together.
get rid of this fairy here.
Meditate and prepare.
At least not easily, I guess.
Listen to your pain. It whispers grand ideas.
This is such a grindy game. I think I'm just gonna forfeit. With the cards in my hand, it's so grindy that I don't really feel like going this particular length. Let's see.
Suppose that's how it was meant to happen. I've got it.
Come on, fairy. It's a commit, and that's a fairy. Exile a card in his hand. I can march, protect this. Try this. No, that was a mistake. Shit. No, I guess it could be fine. I think. Let's see.
Fade into the shadow.
Makes another token. I just gotta somehow kill all these damn tokens, though. I started making tokens of my own. But the token keeps outvaluing me, so shit. Alright, Titan Helix, nice.
Leave you with your scars. Keep up the pace.
Oh, he has Mixed Masteries as a finisher, I presume. Yeah, we're just gonna see. This is gonna take too long, and he's got the advantage with the masteries here. Oh well. It's already a long game. I don't want that one to keep dragging out. Ugh. Guess my misplay was thinking that I forgot the March couldn't target the Planeswalker, which is very relevant in the mirror match. I think this deck is a little worse off on the mirror in terms of other control, but it is really decent against other, I guess, more creature-based decks. I do have more creature-based removal because I am playing black. It's kind of an awkward hand, but it's playable because we do have Narset and Thoughtseize. Let's do this. That's fun. I guess we get rid of that first. Not what we needed. Yeah, I guess kind of unlucky didn't draw any white sources. If I draw a white source like a board clear, I'll be able to stabilize, but yeah. No white sources, huh?
Past, present, keep an open mind.
So we'll just grab a Fatal for now. Archmage Charm and Fatal next turn. Okay.
Hone your prowess.
I think double Fatal is better. I think I want to Archmage Charm this guy here. I guess Archmage Charm that. Damn, really? Not a single white source. That's... Guess it's one of those games where I just don't draw any whites. I play plenty of white sources too. I think our hand would be so like good anti this. Had just a white source, which damn man. Come on. Let's see what he commits to. Ah. Nope. All Demir, not a single white. Of course. I guess it's my fault for keeping a pretty greedy hand, but I think it would have worked out. If I drew just one white, I guess. Okay, this is a little bit more balanced hand here. This is taking a lot of damage though. I guess he can play the MRC. Not having haste is pretty crazy too. I don't like the rolling. I definitely take one of the 2 mana cards. I'm gonna take the rolling cage here. I guess he could just not play anything. And hopefully this mana just goes to waste. Nice. Tricky here. So I can go Shock Typhoon, kill something. I'll still take so much damage though. But I think I need the white here so I can board wipe next turn. If I draw any other land source. Shock Typhoon to Fatal. I can kill a 3 mana, 4 mana CMC thing. If I draw a land source, I have 2 draws to draw a land source. Could be any land. And, well, I guess none of the tap lands. If it's a Hall of a Giant, we fucking die. Best case scenario here, he just goes, okay. So I'm gonna cycle for 0. Oh, that was our land there. Oh, right, he's gonna haste tap. We'll be at 1. Ah, damn. That's unfortunate. 1 turn too late. He had a haster. Ah, so close, right? Hey.
I know 88 ways with thoughtfulness before action.
Yes, got it. Damn. That was close. Maybe I could have just doubled. Nah. Or killed the. I guess I could have killed the Which damage would have taken 3 plus the 1. Prevented 2 damage. Man, 3 losses in a row. That's not too good. You can still do it though. This is a typical hand you just kind of see. Uh, take that. Guess we can take control of this thing if it does. Get rid of all this cheap enchantments. Oh, shit, forgot about that. Oh man, what a rough day today. Protection? Ah, it's got protection, damn. Maybe I steal this thing. The next turn I can exile with the marches. I'll force him to just use it now. See what he does. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know it just falls off like that. Ooh. Alright, I guess we gotta get rid of that thing now. Sure. Sure. What he's gonna do? Sacrifice the dog? I don't think so. Let's just read the card, man. Don't do it. I don't know if we'll be alive or not though. If we can get off commit, that would be great. He has to land to cast both the fairy and something else on the grave though. Or add lures to hand. He goes set no eye and try to kill the fairy. I'm okay with if he texted the fairy. It's tricky here.
Here goes nothing.
Um, but 2 life though. If he equips that thing with the fucking the dog, I die. I like to thought seize and spin this back, I guess. Oh, let's see what he does. I want to thought see Dolores, but if I do, I'm gonna be way too low. YOLO, I guess. Right? Oh, that's a little too early. Shit. Because if he moves into attack, I'd be okay, but... Interesting. Still alive. Hmm. I think I could just Narset first. See what I draw.
If you wish to surrender now, I understand. I have just the trick for this.
Oh, someone's calling me. Give me a second here. Let me finish this game.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2. That's more like it.
I'm gonna try to steal one of these tokens.
Prepare.
I guess I only need 6 mana total to kill this and that. It's not a bad card, like honestly. I like doing stuff like this. Keeping me alive, right? Until I can get he draws Loris now? Where the hell did the Loris even go? Oh, I actually don't even know how Loris even died, to be honest. Okay, so I think I have to Owly World this thing. Block the dog. I always kill this dog later, but oh, what a grindy game. Oh hell yeah. Yes. Oh, that even though we lost a bunch of games today, that was satisfying. A one life hanging on. Um, I guess next turn we play the memory, being that they're Orzhov. I don't think they have any hasters. He misplayed. He could have killed me. I think if he instead of stacking all of his equips on the adamant or the Orlando, if he split it into two, he would have killed me there. But he didn't. He stacked everything to one, which I was able to commit away. And yeah, I guess maybe I need some sort of healing in the deck. I thought about it, but I don't know. Is there anything worth playing that would heal me besides like Planar, Planar's Beacon? But I can't afford to play Planar's Beacon because already have a bunch of intensive color to play around. Um, yeah, I guess Unworldly did its job in that sense. Teferi was okay. Thinking of cutting maybe Teferi because there's some times where I just drew so many of him and I just couldn't do anything with him. So maybe Teferi, but the Unworldly wasn't too bad. It was expensive, but it did its job in this particular scenario here. Um, and then yeah, finally Wrath of the God. Man, yeah, that was a crazy game. Anyways, I'll play some more. I was down 2 games today, but that's okay. Just kind of wanted to show off the deck a little bit and make some improvements in the future. Anyways, I gotta take a call. I'll see you guys next time, alright?